So this is a letter signed by 20 parliamentarians that we'll be handing in to the prison authorities today. Since last December, members of Parliament have been seeking permission to meet with Julian Assange virtually. So there is no health risk whatsoever to anyone. To meet virtually with Julian Assange to speak about the wider implications of his case. And we all know, don't we, why Julian Assange is in prison. We all know, don't we, why the US has been seeking to extradite him, to spend up to 175 years in prison for revealing war crimes. That wasn't a crime against humanity that Julian Assange committed. That was an act of humanity which exposed to the world what was being done in our name. And people shouldn't forget that Julian Assange is in there having succeeded in his recent case. So of course we believe that President Biden should take a leaf out of President Obama's book and drop this request for extradition, drop this appeal. But the real reason that we're here today, because we think it is completely unreasonable, unfair and outrageous that not in our capacity as private citizens, but in our capacity as parliamentarians, as elected members of Parliament, we are being denied the ability and the opportunity to meet with Julian Assange, which is in the public interest, So 20 parliamentarians on a cross-party basis have signed this letter, which we'll be handing in today. The Governor can permit a visit under the rules for official visits, which state that there can be visits from, and I quote, public officials whom the Governor permits to visit. We've been faced with total intransigence. We've been faced with a brick wall. So that's why we're here today.
Read out the names of the parliamentarians, the brave ones, who are following in the steps of Mike Gravel, the congressman who
read out
the Pentagon Papers to Congress 50 years ago.
There's
Read out
Richard
the names.
Virgin, Diane Abbott, that's me, Baroness Christine Blower, Ian Byrne, Jeremy Corbyn, who's standing here, Lord Bryn Davis, Neil Harvey, Lord John Henry, Ian Latham, Caroline Lucas, Kelly McCaskill, John McDonnell, Ian Mearns, Graham Morris, Belvira Addy, Tommy Shepherd, Lord Prem Sicker, Zara Sultana, Claudia Webb and Mick Whitley. And these are the MPs from all parties who signed this letter. All I would say is I think it's really important that Julian Assange is not forgotten.
Here.
I think it's really important that he's not penalised for having helped bring out information the American state didn't want to be made public, and we are committed to continuing to campaign until we can meet with him in our official capacity and until Julian Assange gets justice. Thank you.
Einstein.
Could I just say, first of all, thank you everyone for being here today and showing their support for Julian Assange.
And to you, Jeremy.
And last week there was a debate in the Council of Europe on press freedom, freedom of journalists and the media all across Europe. This is not the European Union, it's the Council of Europe, which covers all European countries, including Russia. Two of us took the opportunity to speak in that debate about issues of real journalism around the world. Journalists that are imprisoned, assassinated, locked up and terrified for their lives because they're exposing corruption, all kinds of things all around the world in many, many countries. And many colleagues in the Council of Europe spoke very eloquently about all of that, and I absolutely agree with all of that. We need to defend real journalists when they stand up against abuse of power and corruption. But sadly, only two of us, that's Paul Gavin from Ireland and myself, used the opportunity to speak about Julian Assange. Because what is Julian guilty of? Other than exposing, as Stella pointed out, what happened in Guantanamo Bay, what happened in Afghanistan, what happened in Iraq, and he exposed the truth about war machines and the march to war, which has cost the lives of so many tens of thousands of people over the past 20 years.
And about Labour Blairite war
And
crimes.
what Julian did was told the truth to the whole world, and that is why he was threatened with extradition to the USA, and there he would have probably received a prison sentence of at least 175 years. So Julian is still in prison here, in this maximum security prison, the most secure prison in the country. For what? What is the danger of Julian being out, other than he might tell us some more truths about abuse of power and abuse of human rights all around the world? And so our support for Julian, our support for Stella and what she said this morning, and all the other campaign visits and tours she's done. So I just say to people, look at the facts of the case, look at the facts of what Julian has written about and published about, and how he has helped to expose what happens when the world rushes towards war and allows the military uncontrolled power of what they intend to do. It costs lives, and it goes on costing lives. So we're here today to point out that we should be able to visit Julian and take advice from him as elected members of our parliament. So far that's been denied, but we're going to keep up with this. But above all, let's keep up this campaign and make sure that Julian is not just not extradited to the USA or indeed anywhere else, but he's freed so he can be with his partner, be with his children, and be a free human being to carry on the great work that he's done for all of his life. Thank you very much.
Free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange!